All right, folks. Next week is jacked in terms of indicators for the markets, especially GameStop reporting earnings for the first quarter of 2022, and we have what happened this weekend with Top Gun Maverick. So all of that is going to have a direct impact into how AMC trades these coming days, and we want to pay attention to that because we might be in for something really brewing underneath the surface. And we're going to go over this in just a second. But before I start, I don't know for you guys, but have you watched Top Gun Maverick? I mean, I watched it with friends on Thursday evening. All right. And the movie is so damn good. The movie is so damn good. The guy is flying the jet himself. Same thing for the other actors that are also flying alongside with him as pilots for the F-19 and the F-14. Man, this movie overall, it's a pretty damn movie. Family values, values around family, sacrifice, friendship, etc., etc. So if you haven't watched it, please go ahead and do so. And the reason I'm mentioning it is because it is exploding the records for box office starting opening weekend. Why we want to pay attention to this? Because the more money movies are making, the more money in the pockets of AMC, the better they are getting closer to finishing a quarter without burning cash flow, without being negative in terms of cash flow, because the short sellers are still looking at some of those in order to justify the reason why they are shorts. But what they tend to forget is AMC is not like any other stock. And let's look exactly at what may happen next week in the market, which will or may shoot the price of this thing even higher than what we are currently sitting on. Because if you look at the market right now, future sessions, we are already up, not by much, but let's look here. So futures, the NASDAQ is already almost flirting with 1% gain. I mean, usually these might be an indication that tomorrow might be a very great day for these indexes. So if that happens, well, some of the short sellers that are still active, I haven't covered based on last week's action, may be in for a very, 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 very interesting day tomorrow. So keep an eye on that. On the other hand, you also have crypto, all right? Because crypto usually go hand in hand with the NASDAQ, all right? So if people who shorted the NASDAQ also shorted crypto, then chances are they might be also starting to cover because things are looking as a short bottom, at least looking at the data and the levels we are seeing now. So another one to pay attention to. But on top of that, I want to also look at something really important here, because when you look at some of the indicators, and this is the reason why I said something might be brewing underneath the surface. We have the short interest at all-time high. I mean, not all-time, but really high. We have the utilization rate at all-time high for quite some time now. We also have the cost to borrow at all-time high. And we have the shorts on loan at all-time high. All right, even higher than when AMC hit the $72 or $77 a share back in June 2021. So things are pretty much overstretched when it comes to the short side on AMC. But the thing is, some of those shorts came when the market was in a downtrend. And now the market is not so much on a downtrend. And it looks like it's really, really trying to make a short reversal, which usually we see when the market has been so stretched on the downtrend. Things might be ugly for those short sellers, all right? Because anytime in this bear market we started since the beginning of this year, short sellers are doubling down. The further they double down, the further they're going to also buy back. Why? Because shorts are future buyers, just by the definition of short selling. All right. So it just depends on when you decide to cover your short positions. And with the AMC, as things are right now, if you look at the market perspective, if you look at the technicals, if you look at the levels we're currently sitting in, you look at all of these data around the short interest, the short exposure, the short structure around this stock, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good for them, but it looks good for us. It does look good for us, and that's why we want to see. So all of what I just said, would it mean that tomorrow when you wake up, AMC will be up 10%? Not necessarily. Would it mean that by the end of this week, with the gamma squeeze that may be into the play here, do we also see AMC being in the 20s or the 30s? Not necessarily, but it's very possible. So I wouldn't be surprised if, we close above. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't close above the current levels, just because, hey, nobody can predict the future. But at least I'm hoping for the best, but I'm also preparing for the worst.